Hello and welcome back. In this practical, we are going to redesign the user interface so that we will have a proper user interface for the command and control server. So go ahead and download this server code from the resource section. Inside it, you will find three files: the control server PHP, the get server commands PHP, and the server icon PHP. So after you have downloaded it and unzipped it, put these three in your htdocs folder. So now your htdocs folder will have this new file, control server PHP, get server commands PHP, and also server icon. So now you can run your server, start it, and then after that you can open a browser. You can open a browser either locally or remotely, it's up to you. If I open locally, I will open it from here and I will key in localhost and I will type the command control server .php, and you should have a nice user interface like this. So how does this work? Let me explain the code for you. So I'll open the control server script and explain to you how it works. So on top here you have your HTML form which creates this user interface here. So this part here are the style commands. So the style, I will specify the Arial type, font, and then also the alignment to be in the center. And the background color is sky blue. This is the hex code for this sky blue here. The padding is 20 pixels, that means the padding between the elements are 20 pixels. And then for the button, this button, the padding is 20 pixels around. And these are called CSS styles. And we normally put them in the header section of the HTML code. So whatever CSS styles that you put here will be available for use inside the HTML page itself. And then inside the body of the form of the HTML page, you will have a div section. A div is a way to separate your parts of the page into several different sections. And here I've created a div starting here and ending here, and inside it I put my server icon on top. So the server icon on top is appearing on top here, this server icon, and this is the file server icon png here. And then below that we create a form. The form starts from here and ends here, and inside the form we put a text, please enter your command, and this is what you are seeing here, please enter your command. And I also have an input text here, which is this text here, and the size is about 35% of the width. And inside here the type of the input is called text. So text means that you can type your text inside here, whatever it might be, you're able to type it here. And then below that I put another input type, but this one is a type submit, which means it's a button. So the value is a label that is shown on the button, and I put execute here so that you can see the word execute here. So this whole thing is a form, and every form will have a method post and the action as well. The ID is optional. The method post means that when you click the button, it will post whatever you type in the text here, in the input here, to the server. And then the action specifies a script on the server that will handle the data that you post. So in this case, the script that we are going to use is the same as the script here itself, which shows the form. So when this thing is being posted, the same script will receive the data and handle it down here. So this part here, the bottom part, is your PHP. So the PHP will check whether or not you got send a button. So notice here when you click execute, you will send the button as well as the text. So over here you are testing whether or not your button has been sent. We use this macro here. Macro is a kind of function which tests whether or not a particular key has been sent. So in this case here, the button key here is referring to the name. Notice that every element has got a name. In this case here, the button has got a name button, so your script will test whether or not the button has been sent. What do I mean by button sent? Button has been sent means whether the button has been clicked. So this is an indirect way of checking whether the user has clicked on the button. So if let's say the button has been clicked, then this will be true. So the function isSet is just to check whether or not the button has been clicked. And we use this function post to check. And then over here, if the button has indeed been clicked, then we'll go inside the block of code here and test whether or not the command string has been sent. So over here, the command string again is checking for the name of the input here, command string. So this is referring to your text here. And then after that, if the command string has been sent, it's now checking to see whether it's empty. So if it's not empty, that means somebody has typed something rather than leaving it blank, then this will be true. So if this both is true, then you will enter the inner block and extract the command that is being sent. So if you were to type ls here, ls, and click execute, this ls will be extracted and saved in this command string variable. So this is how you create variables in PHP. So the ls will be saved in this cmd string variable, and then you will echo back the string received followed by the ls and then go to a new line. So br means go to a new line. So all this will appear below here. So if I click execute now, you will see that this string is shown here, and this string is coming from here, echo receive followed by the command that you sent, and then go to a new line. So if this exists, it will then go to create a file in the htdocs folder called command string txt. So now if you go to your htdocs folder, you should be able to see a new folder being created, command string, and if you open it, you will see that ls is inside it. So how did that happen? That happened because of this function fwrite. So when you open cmd string txt, it's similar to creating a new file. So you create a new file for writing, w means to write, and then you get a reference to the file and save it in fp. fp is another variable which you created on the fly. After you have got the variable which refers to the command file, you will then open it, you will then write to it using fwrite function. The first parameter is the file, and then the second is the string ls which you got it from here. So after you write ls to the file, you also write a new line to it, and this is optional. What do you mean by write a new line? It means that after you have written ls to it, you go to a new line. That is the meaning of ls, of a new line. And then after that, you will close the file, and then the program will exit. But if let's say the command is empty, supposing the user were to type empty command and click execute, then you get back a string command cannot be empty, and this one is coming from here, right? So it will test whether the command is empty or not. If it's empty, then it will come back here and give this message, command cannot be empty. So you have to type something. For example, dir, click execute, then it will tell you receive. If you type empty string and click execute, it will show you command cannot be empty. So this is the code that makes all this possible. So what we are doing here is to save the command into the file, this file. Why do we want to do that? Alright, that takes us to the next PHP script, the get server commands. So if you open this get server commands, now you will see that it is checking to see whether the cmd string file exists. If the file exists, it will open a file for reading, and then it will read the contents of it, and then it will echo it back. Alright, so let's test this now. You can open the localhost and then go to the get server command, PHP, and enter it, and it will echo back this dir. So this dir is coming from the content of this string, of this file, and here you're merely echoing back what you have read to the browser. So in the real a real application, this command, get server commands, will be used by the red bot using the Visual C# program that we wrote earlier. Here we are manually typing it using a browser just to test to see what is actually coming back from this script. And then after that, it will delete the file by using the unlink command. The unlink function is to delete the file. So we need to delete the file so that the red client will not continue to execute the same command again and again. So this is how it works. We have two scripts. One script to give you the user interface, and the other script is for the client red to call and retrieve the command. So the file that is created, let's try that again. When you do this, it creates a file here. This file is the middleman between the server and the client. So this middleman contains the instruction that you want the client, the red, to execute. Okay, later on, instead of using this file, we'll be creating a database that will store this. But for now, I want to keep things simple as a proof of concept to demonstrate to you how you can actually communicate between server and client through a file. We can simulate the red client by opening the get command from here. 56.101, okay, server commands, and see that it retrieves the command ls. Okay, so now we can test this with the actual client, sorry. So we'll run our client now by opening the client which we wrote in the previous section, going to the red projects tree and running the client. So we run the client now. Alright, so now that it's saying no file. Alright, so let's say we type say hello and execute, and you can see hello world pops up here. Okay, say hello. So now if I go back to here and say goodbye, re-execute, you can see say goodbye is received, and there should be a message to say goodbye popping up. Okay, try that again. Say bye, not say goodbye. It should be say bye. Say bye, execute, and here you go, goodbye. Okay, let's try to beep. Close this. Okay, execute. Okay, it beep one time. Alright, then it goes back to no file. Alright, why does the no file show? The no file show because in the script itself, we execute echo no file. See, after it deletes the file will not be there. So then in the next iteration, when your server, when your client loops the second time, it will try to get the command again, but this time the script will return no file. That is why you are seeing no file here. So this is a good thing because you don't want it to continuously execute the same command every 2 seconds. That's why we implement the unlink here. Alright, so this is how you can create a nice, beautiful, simple user interface for your server like this. Okay, so the server runs in your localhost because your server is installed locally, but your red client will retrieve from your virtual machine. Alright, but if you are using both if you're not using a virtual machine, then remember your web client should also be set to 127.0.0.1. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. Thank you for watching.